All right. It is Friday, October 20th. It's 12:15 right now. I wrapped up my day 15, 20 minutes ago and just been working on putting some things together. We are now 5 weeks into this journey of me documenting my new strategy on ES futures with my secret indicator. And I wanted to put together some stats about where we're at so far. I haven't done that yet. Let's talk about today real quick. Today I was 2-0. Both of my trades were my new OJ setup that I only just started taking on these accounts this week, finally live. I've been watching them for some time now. And so I was 2-0 today. I'm 3-0 on that setup. Lifetime on YouTube. All were this week. Was when I started trading them. So 100% on that setup. For anyone that's new here, this is where I do my daily wrap up of my day and today of my week, and just talk about what's working, what's not working, thoughts about my strategy, and I record all my live trades as I take them during the day, and I post that as a separate video so you can see all my live recordings of my trades when I take them, when I don't take them, some thoughts throughout the day. I try to keep it minimal, so I really only try to record, setting up for a trade or kind of in the aftermath of a trade or talking about sometimes what's going on with me during the day. And really, this is just to document this new strategy that I have. I've been trading it for 6 weeks. 5 of those weeks I've been doing it here on YouTube, documenting every single trade. And it's just to see, where it started and where it might take me. I'm 5 weeks in. This is my 5th green week in a row, which I'm, pleasantly surprised by. I didn't think I'd be 5 weeks in and not have a red week. I have had some losses, as you can see here. I guess we could talk about it real quick. Overall, I've taken 33 trades on YouTube, and 29 wins and 4 losses, I believe is correct. I double checked it, so it looks right to me. And I have 3 setups currently. The first setup I ever came up with for the strategy was the LO strategy, or LO setup for the strategy. And that's the first one I started trading, the first one I tested. I had really amazing results in all my back testing and on sim. And so I started taking these trades on my Apex accounts, actually the week before I started YouTube, and just documenting only the YouTube trades for LO. I'm 15 wins and 4 losses. So that's 79%. It's actually lower than I thought I would be at. Honestly, my testing, I was in the 90% range, over 90%. So it's definitely lower than what I was expecting. But if I take into account the week before I started recording on YouTube, the trades I took on these Apex accounts, I actually had a 6-0 week, my very first week trading on YouTube with the LO setup. I was 7-0 for that first week before I started YouTube. But with the LO specifically, I was 6-0. So if you fold that into the stats, then that takes me to 21 wins and 4 losses, which is 84%. So still not even where I would have expected that setup to be at this point. But that, I think, is more in line with what I think at minimum I should be able to expect over a larger sample size. Just going by 19 trades or by 25 trades, it's a really small sample size still. So I think overall, it's working. It's doing the right thing. A few more losses than I would have expected, but can't get discouraged by those numbers. They're still profitable numbers for the strategy, and in a small sample size. And I'm going to continue to work on, especially right now, the LO setup, since that's the only one that's given me any losses. I'm going to still work to just work on the rules, work on what the conditions should be. I feel like I've been skipping a lot of LO setups that maybe I should be taking. There are a number of trades that I've considered my white subjective trades, which I'm not taking right now. I'm trying to only take gold objective trades. And there were a lot in the past 5 weeks of LO setups that, according to the rules I developed, I'm looking at like their white setups, but there's been a lot of them that have worked. And maybe I need to loosen the rules a little bit, or reimagine. Maybe some of the rules are a little too strict. And if I was taking more of them, I really think that this win rate would have been a little bit higher. I easily, I know, could have had another 5 wins. Now the question is, would there have been more losses too? That's entirely possible. So I need to kind of go back and examine, do some more testing, do some more forward testing, some more back testing, and see where we come out on the LO. I'm not discouraged by it, but I definitely am more nervous taking the LO than my other two setups. Let's talk about that real quick. The PB, I am 11 wins and no losses over the course of the 5 weeks, documenting here on YouTube. And if you take into account the 1 week prior that I started on YouTube, I was 1-0 on PB that prior week. So for the lifetime of trading the strategy, trading the PB on these Apex accounts, I'm 12-0. Either way, I'm 100%. And on this newest setup that I already mentioned, the OJ, we've got 3 wins on it this week. It's the first week I've traded it, 100%. So overall, 29 wins, 4 losses, 88% with my strategy recorded, documented, all here on YouTube, showing everything, wins and losses, showing my bank accounts, well, not my bank accounts, but my Apex accounts with all the P&Ls, with all of the balances and commissions and everything, as well as, I show it here as well. This is the live R trader that documents all of the Apex accounts as well, which shows the trailing information as well. So I'm being fully transparent with everything I'm doing while I'm documenting my success so far with the strategy. And if I run into problems, if I start taking more losses, I'm going to show it all. The one thing that is difficult on a day like today, for instance, is, psychology. This whole week, really. Psychology is always a thing that comes into play. And I'm going to pause it right here so I can show my chart for today and get into some of that and what the psychology that I'm talking about is. But essentially, generally speaking, there are trades that I'm skipping today. At the end of the day, there was a trade that was a gold setup, another OJ, and it won. And I could have been 4-0 on it for the 5 weeks, and I could have been 3-0 for the day. But I skipped it because it was getting late in the day, and I was already satisfied with my 2-0 day and the numbers that I have here. One more trade wasn't gonna make me qualify for a payout. Unfortunately, on this number 3 PA account, essentially 2 trades away from qualifying for a payout. You need 26,600, and I'm at 26,400. So I'm trading 1 contract at a time right now on that on my PA account. So that's essentially 2 8-tick scalps, and I will qualify. But I knew one more trade wasn't going to get me there today. I didn't want to push it. It was the end of a Friday, going into a weekend. I just, I get extra protective and defensive about protecting my profits, and just don't want to go into a weekend with a negative feeling or, taking a loss and having to think about that all weekend. Let me pause here, take some of this off my screen. It's been on long enough so you can see $460 on the PA accounts today, $2,023 on the evaluation accounts. I'll circle back around and talk about some of the accounts individually, but 4-0 week, fifth week in a row green, 2-0 for the day. Everything's looking good. So let me take some of this stuff off the screen and talk about the day real quick. All right. So today, this whole week has been kind of a difficult week. The price action has definitely been changing in the market. There's a lot of volume more than we've had, a lot of volatility more than what we've had, a lot of world news events and news during the week that just sending shockwaves through the market. And, just generally speaking, from the YouTube groups, or not the YouTube groups, the Discord groups that I belong to, and just seeing other people's comments and what's going on with their accounts that they share, it looks like it's been a difficult week for a lot of people out there, difficult couple weeks, maybe even. And so, again, the strategy, while it's been working for me, I've been going slow. I've been very careful and meticulous with my rules and what setups I'm willing to take. And today I was able to get two. Now I started late today. I started around 7:30 today, and we had a pretty steep sell-off already once I had started. And if I just quickly zoom in here. So you can see I started right somewhere in here and just got my chart on and everything. And really quickly, within minutes, and the market was moving pretty fast at the time, within minutes of starting. I mean, I literally started, if I remember correctly, I started the recording of my live trade session just to say, hey, it's Friday and I'm starting right now and I'm starting late. And by the time I had done that and said that, this OJ set up right away, and it had already triggered. I don't remember exactly what the timing was, whether it already triggered before I started the recording or as I was recording. And I don't even think I noticed it until after it already triggered here. And it went, let's see, the entry here was 69.75 and the low here was 68.50. So it already gone 5 ticks at the bottom of this wick. And so I was already recording. I still very sleepy, just starting the day. I overslept, and I noticed that it was an OJ. I had only taken one OJ ever on these Apex accounts and on YouTube at that point, but I'm pretty confident that it's a solid setup. And so even though it already triggered, I kind of watched it to see what was going to happen when this bar was forming, and it was going against it, a little pullback. And then when I saw that it really looked like it should work, all the rules were in place, I triple checked everything. I hadn't gone 7 ticks yet. My rule is if it goes 7 ticks, I won't enter a trade, but I can enter it late if it hasn't gone 7 ticks yet. So I entered late, and it worked almost immediately after I entered for a full 8-tick scalp. And then, really not too much longer, a half hour, 40 minutes later, there was another OJ. Now this one definitely made me nervous. First of all, it was a really big bearish bar, so it moved down quite a lot, where it got triggered down here, 2 ticks below this one, and I entered 1 tick. All the rules were in place. It was a gold setup. It looked perfect on entry in terms of all my back testing and the conditions and rules for the setup. But then, as you can see, it had a major pullback. And on these setups, the OJs, it's not the same rule for where the stop loss goes. So it looks like, generally speaking, the stop loss should just be the previous pivot high or low, depending on if you're going long or short. And so really the stop belonged up here. So it was a rather large stop. The high here is 68.50. So 68.75 would be the stop. And my entry was 61.50. So you're talking about a 7-point stop there, which, it's a little less than 4-1, given that I go for 2 points. So it's not terrible. It's kind of in line with, I used to trade max price action trading system, and 3-1, 4-1 is pretty common in that system, going for 4 ticks the way he teaches it with his rules. So in high volatility times. So it's within reason, I believe, for the strategy, even though it feels large, because obviously as a dollar figure it's larger. And then so when it pulled back, I was really like, this is highly unusual for this OJ setup for me. Usually I typically just see it work more like this, or really just go right to the 8-tick profit target. So for it to have this really deep pullback and then another kind of secondary pullback really is not what I'm used to seeing on that setup. And so I did move my stop to here once it ticked below here to reduce risk. So that took 2 points off my risk right there. And then again, when this formed another pivot high and started to come back down, I again reduced risk here, which took another, I don't know, 0.5 point or so of risk off. And because it did this, I was really thinking to just take a break even +1 and not risk it, because it really felt like it was stacking up. It felt like there was forming some kind of strong support here. And as you can see, I really needed it to break through lower and kind of retest these lows. But there was no real clear reason why it should retest the lows based on price action, what I was seeing visually. So it did make me really nervous. And if you watch my live recording of the trade, you'll see I really was, I put it up to break even +1 for my profit target. And then I moved it down by 1. I moved it down by 1. I moved it down. And then ultimately it caught up with me at 5 ticks. So I got out of the trade with 5 ticks, which I was more than happy with given the circumstances. Now, if I had just not messed with my profit target, I would have got 8 or 6 ticks for sure. It went there right afterwards. So, I did cost myself a little bit of profit that I could have had. But I'm not an aggressive trader. I'm not a gunslinger, not yet anyway. So I am very careful, and I am more about protecting profits than I am about just going for big profits. I'm trying to just build slowly. So I was happy with the 5 ticks. There was a little bit of an error that occurred on the copier, and one of my accounts, when some of my accounts opened a new trade somehow with the copier. And so one of the accounts, I lost a second set of commissions. And then on a few of the evaluations, I actually lost a tick back plus commissions. But thankfully that didn't affect any of my PA accounts, and I was able to just get the 5 ticks straight up there. And then a lot of movement. I was away for some of this. Kind of in and out a couple times, took a couple breaks, took care of the dogs. And then there wasn't until a little after 11:30, not too long ago, an hour ago, where another OJ finally formed. And I was already thinking I was kind of done with the day. This week and today, I don't know, I feel really exhausted and just kind of feel like, I don't know, it's just a very difficult week emotionally and psychologically with the strategy. I had only gotten 2 trades on Tuesday. Monday, no trade. The previous Friday, I only traded for about an hour, but no trade. Wednesday, no trade. Thursday, no trade. And if you watched any of those sessions, or especially yesterday, You could probably tell I was really frustrated. There was a lot of setups I could have taken yesterday. I think there's about 6 really good ones, at least 4 that were like definitely good trades, good gold objective trades. And I didn't take any of them. And so it just mentally, it was exhausting to feel like, why was I taking trades? I was kind of hesitant. And I think after a day or two where I don't get a trade, it becomes harder to execute and just have confidence. And so that's something I'm still struggling with. And it is a new strategy. And it's only my 5th week on YouTube. So I am, battling some of that stuff. And I think as good as any strategy is, your psychology has to be on point too. And I struggled with that this week for sure. Even though I had a 4-0 week, I had a 4-0 week, which is solid for me in my Pats, in my old days of trading Pats. And if I had a 4-0 week, that was excellent, and so, I'm doing as good or better on my good weeks than I ever did on Pats. And yet I'm having green weeks week after week after week. I never had 5 green weeks on Pats in 3 years, honestly. I never did. There was always, if I had a green week, I probably had a flat to maybe a little negative week the next week, or barely green week, or, and definitely by the 3rd week, I definitely had a red week. So this strategy is just working for me. It's working way better. I still, when I take a trade, I still can't believe it works when it does. And when I've compiled all these results now, I still honestly, I'm still honestly surprised, that it is 88%. I really am. I'm surprised it's 88%. I'm surprised I'm 100% on some of these setups. It's working really well. I've been green and profitable for 5 weeks in a row. I've passed an evaluation. And if we take a look here, I'm getting really close again to passing another one. I'm just noticing right now, I'm $130 away from passing this evaluation. So that would be a 6th PA, which would be great. And, I'm getting closer on this one on the 50K. And they're all in good standing. I'm not too far behind on this 25K. Oh, look, there's another 25K. I'm only a couple trades away from passing as well for another PA. So, this is working. I'm going slow. It's working. I got to just remind myself on days like yesterday or this week where I'm not getting trades. No trades is better than losing trades. I've always felt that way. And again, coming back to this last trade, I really should have taken it. It fit all my rules. There was no reason not to take it. The only reason not to take it was just being fearful of taking a loss before the weekend, being fearful of giving some profit back before the weekend, being fearful that, if I do take a loss, I'm going to say, why did I take it? Why did I need one more trade? Why wasn't I just content with what I already had going into the weekend where I feel good and confident? And I do feel all those things. I feel more confident today, having the results in front of me, and seeing that, yes, where is it? I'm 2-0 for the day. I'm 4-0 for the week. I'm 88% on YouTube. I'm 100% on 2 of my setups. I'm basically 80% on the other setup. Like, everything is lining up. Everything is headed in the right direction. It's giving me confidence. Yet, I just couldn't take that last trade. I just couldn't do it. And I think with time, I'll get there. With time, seeing this week after week after week after week, month after month, if this can continue to be the results I'm having, there will come a time where I will take this trade no matter what time of day it is, because right now I could have been 4-0 with it on YouTube. I've never actually seen it lose in all of my testing of it. Now, it's still a pretty small sample size, but I have not seen it lose yet. I'm still waiting to see that happen. So I'm going to build confidence with it. It's only the third time I've taken it. My first 2 trades today were my second and third time ever, and this would have been the fourth. So I think just the more I'm now aware of it, I've got the rules in place. I know when it should work, when it shouldn't work, what makes it white, what makes it bad, invalid, and what makes it gold. So, all right, where are we at? 25 minutes. It's been a long video. I think what I'll do from now on is I'm going to keep the running total kind of in a more concise version on screen throughout my recording of my trades, and just kind of update it. So it's always on screen from now on for the most part. I'll make it small somewhere. And yeah, this was the first time I've really compiled exactly what these stats are. So 29 wins, 4 losses, 33 trades, 88%. Feels good, feels solid. I think we might find ourselves in the 90%. I'd like to think that that's doable overall as we move forward. But, we need a really large sample size. We need hundreds and hundreds of trades. Right now, I've got 33 trades on YouTube. So that's the other thing I need to do. I do trade on a laptop, and I'm trying not to burn out the battery by just being plugged in all the time. So there was a time where I walked away from the computer today, and I came back and my computer was black. Everything was off. And luckily, hopefully, it maintained the recording. I think it did, of my live trades. I never even actually checked it. So hopefully it's all there. I just need to be more mindful about when it's getting low battery to plug it back in. Anyway, end of my 5th week here on YouTube. 5 green weeks in a row. We're passing evaluations. We're getting very close to my very first payout on a PA account. So close. I mean, this is, I'm trading 1 contract. So this is one or 2 trades away. 2 trades away. And I'm going to have to wait for the next payout period. Things are going well. I'm going to rest up. I'm going to back test, do a lot of testing over the weekend. I want to build more confidence in my LO strategy or my LO setup. I need to really work on the rules and see if I can just take more of them. I think that's probably the key. Just take more of them. Don't eliminate so many because you think they're subjective. Maybe my rules are not quite right on them yet. And what I'm thinking are subjective white setups for the LO are maybe they should be considered gold. And maybe it's more of a 85 to 90% strategy if I take more of them, because I'd have more wins and perhaps the same amount of losses. We'll see. We'll keep testing. We'll keep moving forward. This is a long video. I'm out for the weekend. Thank you for checking out my videos. Thanks for following me on my journey. And hopefully this leads to really amazing things down the road. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. All right. Thanks everyone for watching.